Alec Baldwin could still face new charges in regards to the fatal shooting of a camerawoman on the set of his Western film Rust, prosecutors in New Mexico have warned. So, as far as we understand, Alec Baldwin's charge of criminal manslaughter has been dismissed. Why? Well, because new evidence has come to light such that the gun was modified prior to the shooting of the scene. Perhaps I've mischosen my words there. The gun was modified such that it could fire without the trigger being pulled. Those facts, those details have only just been referred to the prosecutors, and with that, at this late stage, the prosecutors feel that it's inappropriate to push forward with a criminal manslaughter charge against Alec Baldwin at this stage. Having said that, the special prosecutors have reminded the public that an investigation is still ongoing at this point. It is possible that further information comes to light, further evidence comes to light, such that the prosecutors feel that they are able to renew significant charges against Alec Baldwin. But for the time being, his criminal manslaughter charge has been dismissed. We should note that the armorer who provided the prop gun to Alec Baldwin, and her name is Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, is still being prosecuted as planned. So to remind you, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's father was a very well-respected armorer within the Hollywood scene, worked on a huge amount of movies as an armorer. And if I recall correctly, the role of armorer on the movie of Rust was Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's first position in that role. And if we recall back to the time that all of this was reported, which was back in October 2021, I can slightly recall that there was a lot of criticism about Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's general performance, her general ability, a lot of slackness going on. I'm going by memory, but details of guns not being properly, adequately prepared. And that, I believe, is much of Alec Baldwin's defense argument, that he asked for a cold gun. He was told that the gun was cold, meaning that it was safe to fire on a movie set. Seemingly, that was not the case. The camera woman, I thought she was a director. I'm quite sure she is a director, but the article that I read through referred to the victim, Halnia Hutchins, 42 years of age, as being a camera woman, but I thought she was a cinematographer or such, was killed in the shooting. Alec Baldwin was handling the gun at the time. We assumed that he pulled the trigger. He insisted to FBI that that was not the case. He insisted that he did not pull the trigger. The FBI retorted by saying, well, Alec, that's not possible. If the gun fired, that means that the trigger must have been pulled. It was in your hands. You must be the guilty party. But seemingly, since then, new evidence has come to light such that the gun was modified prior to the scene, such that it could fire without the trigger being pulled. Now, if I recall, I think I have recently read that that gun has now been destroyed, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Some might say that there's room for conspiracy theories to form. Okay, let's destroy the key piece of evidence in this case, and with that, Alec Baldwin's charges must be dismissed. I would not be surprised if some people go in that direction. So that's pretty much the details of this article. Again, full condolences for the family and friends, co-workers of the victim, Halnia Hutchins, killed October 2021 by a gun firing. I'm not sure if it was a full bullet or if it was, some kind of fragment that killed Halnia Hutchins. I'm not sure. I don't think such information has been confirmed or released. Perhaps I've got that wrong. I'm going to comment that I do think that there is room for suspicion. Why has this gun been destroyed? I believe I'm right in saying that it has been. And if that is the case, then why? That is a huge failing on the behalf of the authorities in New Mexico, and a failing which has hugely favored Alec Baldwin. So I think there is room for scratching our heads in that regard. Why has Alec Baldwin been given a pass? Now, having said that, my take on it, generally speaking, is that seemingly Alec was passed a gun that he was told was a cold gun, and from that should not have live ammunition in it. So to me, if he pulled the trigger or if he didn't pull the trigger, if he thought that there was no harm to be done by pulling the trigger, then I think he should avoid serious criminal manslaughter charges in the position of being an actor. So what do I mean by that? I mean that in his position of being an actor, if he pulls the trigger after being told that it's safe to do so, then I don't feel that he's to blame. But he's more than the actor in this case. The film Rust, which is still in production, is being financed and produced by Alec Baldwin. He's the executive producer, if I recall correctly. The article that I read through didn't give us every last details, and it's been a while since I went over this thoroughly, but I'm quite sure he's the executive producer or one of, and with that, I presume he would be at least partially responsible for the hiring of the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who again, her charges are still being pursued. So I would think, in my opinion, Alec Baldwin deserves to have the charges dismissed in regards to his role as an actor, regardless as even to whether he did pull the trigger, in my opinion, as a layman. But as a producer, I would imagine that there's still quite a high degree of culpability or potential culpability for having been at least partially responsible for the management of the set, the management of the staff. And if this ultimately was due to negligence because the gun was modified inappropriately or incorrectly, or if this was due to negligence because the armorer had not done their job properly in one way or another, then I would think that there is room for Alec Baldwin to be culpable in those regards. Anyway, I've waffled a little bit too much. Perhaps you've stuck around, perhaps you haven't. If you have, you're an absolute star. Please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit, and take care.